All right, everyone. Assuming it's going, I'll check after a bit. Huge Movie Fanatics Radio for May 19th, 2022. Open up the old chat box in case anyone shows up and wants to chat. Yeah, honestly, not a whole lot on my mind. Um, you guys who listen to the show more or less frequently know that it's more or less a chat driven show. If I have anything to say about anything specific, I'll usually make a video about it or something like that. So the tedious part is always waiting for people to show up and chat and start directing or dictating the conversation, if you will. But I'll do my best. Talking to myself until anyone shows up, if they are going to do so. I guess since the last show, I'm pretty sure that this news might have come down the pipeline last Friday, the 13th. I don't, as I'm not a 4K UHD guy, I don't plan to make a video about this, but I kind of want to. We'll see. I don't know, but at any rate, I can mention it here. For those of you who don't know and do have 4K, TV and player and stuff, it turns out that I think it was announced last week that Friday the 13th, 1980 is going to be coming out on UHD, and I want to say it's September 13th of this year. It would have been cool if it could have come out, on Friday, May 13th. That would have been much better, but I guess September is their way of getting it out for like the Halloween season or whatever. But obviously, to those who do have, the 4K TV and player, it's probably a bummer that it's not the first four being released, as the first four have been, whatever, scanned in 4K. But I would assume this is Paramount's, little strategy to see how well the first one sells before they bother putting out anything else. So, yeah, honestly, this is probably the, this announcement and this particular 4K disc is probably the first 4K disc that, I actually really would be interested in. For those of you who don't know, I'm kind of anti 4K. I'm of the generation where I grew up in the 80s, in the 90s and stuff, when it was primarily VHS, and had, did VHS for so many years, and amassed a VHS collection, then got into Laserdisc, and amassed a Laserdisc collection, then got into DVD, and amassed a DVD collection, then got into Blu-ray, and amassed a Blu-ray collection. So it's like I'm just so over like rebuying all my favorite movies and stuff. That's why up until this point I'm like anti 4K. It's like, Blu-ray is perfectly, satisfactory in my opinion. I think DVD was, but Blu-ray definitely is. The reason I'm kind of anti 4K is because I'm just sick of the upgrades every so odd years or so. It looks like we do have Austin with us, like 3 minutes into the show. Welcome, Austin. He says, I grew up when it was only VHS. Yeah, it seemed like VHS was the dominating format for, God, if not 20 years, close to 20 years. Early 80s to basically, not a lot of people had DVD, DVD wasn't even that common necessarily until maybe the 21st century. So you could really say that VHS was like the primary, home video format for nearly 2 decades. And, it'd be nice if every time a new one comes around, it would last 20 years. My biggest problem with the new formats is that they seem to come up and something takes their place. Obviously one's perception of time changes as you get older, but it just seems like new formats are coming out more and more. And I was just going to say, how long until the 4K disc, but honestly, unfortunately, the trend is more towards streaming. I don't know if 4K, UHD is going to be the last physical format. That'd be a big bummer. as much as I'm, kind of anti 4K and potentially 8K, I'd just as soon see 8K, discs and the continuation of 4K than no physical media at all. Austin says rebuying the same movies over and over is how the studios make their money. The first DVD he ever saw in person was Mortal Kombat, and he didn't even know what format it was. Okay. Yeah, well, that's true. I mean, it's how studios just sell the same movies over and over and over. So, I guess it's their little marketing scheme. So, yay them or whatever. I never did check the sound. I'm assuming I'm sounding okay, Austin. Once again, thanks for showing up, Austin. Obviously, if we get no one on Skype this week, it'll just be a conventional, traditional, old-fashioned chat reading show, which, I would imagine would only go 2 to 3 hours or something like that. This being in case you didn't know, this is a movie talk on Skype only week, so so there's that. I'm still standing by with that whole plan, which I think is going to work out just fine. Austin says The Matrix was the first DVD his dad bought. Scream 3 was the first one Austin owned. Yeah, it's funny. The Matrix was kind of like the perfect DVD, like whatever at the time, showcase or whatever, especially if you had the 5.1 surround and stuff. What a perfect movie to showcase that format. Austin says he thinks Hellraiser, or the Hellraiser tin set, was his second DVD. Okay, yeah. For those who, listening, who might not know, I did do, I don't know when it was, a couple years ago, a video showcasing the first DVD player I got in 1997. It's actually got relatively decent views for my channel. And then I showcased some of my first DVDs I ever bought in 97. Some of the first DVDs ever made are available in North America. So, in case anyone wants to check out those videos. Austin thought Hellraiser on DVD was a revelation back then. Yeah, well, I agree. I mean, I'd say anything on DVD was pretty much a revelation back then. It sure beats the Star Maker extended play VHS that I got in a 2-pack with an R-rated Hellbound Hellraiser 2 that I'd later go on to exchange for a VHS of Friday the 13th in standard play. But yeah, DVD definitely beats an extended play VHS. Austin says also Hellraiser 2 had an extra scene included in the film that wasn't on VHS. Wow, I wasn't aware of that. I was never the biggest Hellraiser fan, so I didn't have any of the films really implanted in my mind very well. I was never that familiar with them where I could catch things like that. That's a new one. Austin had the Star Maker tapes as well, but they were the 1994 collector's editions with the interviews. Well, at least they threw interviews on it. I'm assuming, were those tapes extended play, or were they in a better quality speed? One thing that a listener and a visitor to the channel last year who's kind of fallen off the radar, it kind of makes me wonder, I hope he's okay, Iron Rooster. Last year on a radio show, he said that he had found a Star Maker VHS of The Forest at like a, whatever you want to call it, a Goodwill or something like that. And I'm really jealous of that. I looked it up online. That's pretty cool looking. And also, I think he found like a sealed VHS of Friday the 13th. That was the dreaded Gateway release, which I think is extended play. Austin says his Hellraiser Star Maker tapes were crappy EP. He also says he was watching Serial Mom a few minutes ago. Pretty funny movie. Okay. I've never seen that one. Oh yeah, I think I'm familiar with that. He says Godzilla 85 has a Star Maker. Good old Star Maker. It's funny because back in the day, I always thought like their cover art was actually kind of classy with their silver or gold, fancy schmancy borders or whatever they put on there. And it's kind of funny how they look all fancy schmancy like the cover art, but then the VHS is crappy, as crappy as you can get extended play bullshit. So it's like kind of, whatchamacallit, misleading. Looks like possibly just Austin listening. Welcome, Austin. Well, at least, at least Austin showed up. It's greatly appreciated. So I don't have to talk to myself for 30 minutes. Austin says a lot of Godzilla films were put out by Star Maker. Serial Mom is a John Waters comedy / horror film with Kathleen Turner. Oh yeah, now I can see the cover. Okay. Personally, I'm not the biggest John Waters guy, but that's okay. Good old Star Maker. Austin remembers watching Creepshow 2 for the first time on a Star Maker tape. Pretty crappy transfer. Yeah, that's one of the things that I wasn't too thrilled about the 90s. Like, being a customer and in a customer and then at one point an employee of Suncoast Motion Picture Company. I just thought it was, blasphemy that they could actually get away with selling, tapes, VHS tapes with movies on them that were recorded in EP. We've got Matthew Haggerty in the chats. He says, "Let's go." Okay, here we go. Welcome, Matt. Welcome, Austin. Welcome, Matt. So it will be interesting to see if enough people buy Friday the 13th on 4K so Paramount, is justified in putting out more of the films on Blu-ray. One thing I do appreciate about the Blu-ray cover art is it looks to feature the original poster art, which has been something they've been doing, thankfully, since they put out the Steelbook. Because they put out the Steelbook, and then Scream Factory put out their collection, and then Paramount put out the movie on Blu-ray by itself that got the 4K master with the original theatrical poster. Second time, since the 99 release on DVD, and now it's going to be released a third time. I mean, the inevitable 4K disc was just a matter of time. And now the third disc of it is coming out that features original theatrical poster. So I do appreciate them doing that. And honestly, it just looks so cool and retro to have that original artwork on the 4K. Austin says those EP tapes don't last as long as SP. He's got a crappy EP VHS of Silence of the Lambs and the EP VHS of Nightmare, I'm assuming, on Elm Street 3. Oh, that reminds me, I actually did start watching the first episode of Freddy's Nightmares, and I would have probably kept watching. I was watching it on an iPad, and then when the commercial was set to appear, it was just a black screen, so it's like, I don't know, it kind of glitched up and wouldn't go back to the episode. But I gotta tell you, the beginning of that first episode was really cool with, it's the trial of Freddy Krueger before he got burned, and it's really cool how they kind of keep Freddy's face, Robert Englund's face obscured from the camera. We just see the back of his back and the back of his head and stuff. Really, really, really cool. So I'm definitely interested in watching that whole episode. I bet that first episode is really cool. Basically telling the story of how Freddy got, through some cop not doing procedure or whatever, got free, and then the parents, I'm assuming, go and burn him up or whatever. But really cool so far. Too bad it glitched up with the commercial there. Austin says Freddy's Nightmares gets better as you go along. Well, maybe once you get past episode 2. I thought the first episode, which is featured on that Blu-ray collection of the films, wasn't very good, but hopefully episode 3 is. I think episode 3 is also featured on the DVD of extras from the Blu-ray collection of the films. But the first episode was directed by Tobe Hooper. Second episode, Tom McLaughlin, who directed Jason Lives, Friday 6. And I'm not familiar with any of the other episodes, but it's interesting how they get like Tobe Hooper to direct the episode of that show is something. About 17 minutes or so into the show already. Yep, just a friendly reminder of what silence sounds like. I like to remind my listeners every now and then. There's another reminder. Austin had to fix something. I guess he's explaining his absence from chat for a few moments. Pardon me. Yeah, just another day in paradise, I guess, on the radio show. Yes, sir. That's what happens on a chat-driven radio show. When there's no chat, there's no driven. Well, I guess, here we go. Austin says, so did Suncoast keep EP tapes in a special section? Yeah, I want to say there was like a $10 VHS section, so I hope all the EP tapes were in that section, and it didn't mean that a tape was extended play if it was in the $10 section. Sometimes there were LP, or sometimes I think there were even SP. It all depended on the home video distributor or whatever. But I hope, I want to say that all of the EP tapes in the store were in the $10 section. I can't remember for sure. Matthew Haggerty says Linux all the way, verisimilitude. Jesse, we can probably start calling him Jesse, is here. He says he'll be on in 5, so I guess we're gonna have Jesse on Skype this week. So see, I think my alternating week to week thing is pretty damn fair. Austin says, what was the quality difference in CLV and CAV laser discs? I think I've heard some people say they can't even tell the difference, and to me it's like the image clarity is far superior in CAV discs. It's just an all around, I guess. Yeah, I don't even know how to describe it. It's just an all around more full kind of an image. It maybe a good way to describe it is like CAV Laserdisc is 1080p and like a CLV is 720. Maybe that's like maybe the best way I can vocally describe it. I know Austin just as soon have a chat only show, but when you've only got one person on Skype, you can keep up with chat perfectly fine, I think. So there. Austin asks if I own any Criterion Laserdisc. Yeah, you must have not have seen my showcasing of the Criterion Halloween Laserdisc. But yeah, I've got a decent amount of Criterion Laserdiscs, like, Hard Boiled, John Woo movie, and even Bram Stoker's Dracula, and Citizen Kane. Citizen Kane came out in a CLV version and CLV version. I've got both of those. 2001: A Space Odyssey in a fully CAV version. I've got that Criterion. North by Northwest. Those are like little box sets with like I think a minimum of 3 discs. I've got a 7, the David Fincher movie, 7 CAV, completely CAV Criterion edition of 7 box set. I've got a pretty decent amount of Criterion laser discs. My intention a couple years ago was to showcase more of them, but I kind of get like once I get into showcasing whatever, and then it kind of gets tedious. So whatever. My intent is just only so many hours in a day and so many days in a week and so on and so forth. But one's ambitions are always greater than what their aging body and mind allows for. Austin says, how come Criterion never did VHS? Well, probably because, they were all about quote-unquote quality, and I guess, and actually, I'm not even sure that they didn't do VHS, but I'm not 100% sure, but I guess their thing was quality, and I guess their opinion was quality wasn't so much to be had on VHS, and I kind of agree with them, Yeah. Yeah, I just want to mention this right now. I think it was yesterday I was on blue-ray.com, and on the top of the page they've got like recent Blu-ray sales or whatever, price reductions or whatever, and I just want to point anyone towards this trailer, not necessarily the Blu-ray because it's limited to like just a couple hundred and they want almost $30 for it, and it's probably not worth it. But there's this funny, and I checked out the trailer on YouTube. It was really funny and cool. You might want to look up this trailer on YouTube called Death Reels, I want to say, DEATH space REELS, Death Reels, and it's basically, I guess, a collection of maybe these guys' short films they made when they were teenagers or 20-somethings or something. It looks like on Super 8, but the trailer is really fun. It's actually only got like 25 views or something. This is a Blu-ray that I guess is some limited to 250 or something like that they're probably just putting out themselves or something, but it's coming out or whatever. And I think it's like the price is like $28 or something crazy. But I looked at the trailer on YouTube and it was just kind of fun, It's just kind of like just a bunch of gore clips, It's just really it almost makes me want to see it, but I ain't gonna pay $28 for it. So it's probably just a collection of these guys' Super 8 shorts that they did or whatever. But the gore shots, they made me smile, and even just thinking about them right now, just it reminds me of the stuff I did with my buddy, when we were teenagers, with the Fisher Price PXL 2000 camera and stuff. Just doing shorts just for kills, But it does make me, interested in seeing it. Not interested enough to spend that kind of money. But Austin says, weren't the features of the 7 Criterion ported over to the New Line Platinum Series DVD? It's possible that some of them were. I don't know, I don't know all of them enough to know if they all were. I know that I don't think this was a feature that was ported over to the New Line DVD. I'm not 100% sure, but on the Criterion release, there were these really cool, for whatever reason, they just put on, like, I don't even know how many minutes. It was a decent amount of minutes of just raw footage of scenes. It might have almost been like, I don't know, 15, 20 minutes. I don't remember, but they for whatever reason, they put on just raw footage of certain scenes, like the one scene of them like at the morgue looking at the guy, and some of the outtakes, just several takes of a scene. There's that one scene where Gwyneth is talking to whatever that guy's name is, Morgan, at the diner, and they just show a whole take of that one kind of emotional scene, just her, the shot of her angle only, just all the way through, kind of. I don't know why, maybe just an example of, the scene, what it's like without a cut or whatever. But I don't imagine that stuff made it to the DVD, just like the raw footage. Maybe that stuff maybe you can find that on YouTube, but that was really cool. I mean, I think some of the most simple stuff like that, sharing some of that, just the raw daily footage, is so interesting, and so much more interesting than just interviews with people and just talking about this or that and my character's motivation and blah blah blah. Like, it's just so cool to see like the raw daily footage, to me, and I could just watch all the dailies on movies I like, just forever. So if I had to take a guess, that raw daily footage stuff, I don't imagine that's on the DVD. So already basically 30 minutes into the show. How's about it? Pretty amazing. And I will ask Austin to, well, I suppose I can find out myself. I was going to ask him to let me know how Jesse sounds when we get him on Skype. But I guess I can do it with the headphones. It's just easier. It's always easier if someone else does it. Yeah. Yeah. Another whatchamacallit, exercise in silence. I'm actually going to type 7 raw. Oh yeah, of course. Okay, so, Let's see, was that 90? That was 96, I want to say. Was that 96 or 95? It might have been 95. So I typed, 7 1995 raw footage. Nothing showing up. So that footage might not even be on YouTube, which would be a bummer, but it's really kind of fun for people interested, that aren't just like casual movie fans, but interested in the filmmaking process. Okay. Oh, looks like Jesse's ready. We're in a submarine. All right, well, I tried to ring you, Jesse. You can ring me if you want. Yep, Huge Movie Fanatics Radio. Hello?
Hello, Nate.
There we go.
This damn thing works when it wants to sometimes.
Yeah, exactly. Welcome. So, it's been like a couple of weeks since we heard from you. What's new?
Oh, this is that is this.
Yeah, that's
Just
about
living the dream, brother. Living the dream.
That's about it. They're more like the nightmare.
Yeah, it can be called that too at times. For sure, man, for sure.
Let me quickly read
What
Austin.
about you? What's new with you?
Let me quickly read Austin talking about the 7 Blu-ray, the David Fincher film. He's got the 7 on Blu-ray, and he thinks it might have that raw footage. It does have deleted scenes. Yeah, I'm talking about raw footage, not deleted scenes, but I haven't looked at all the extras on the Blu-ray. But if it's got that raw footage, that'd be really cool. To answer Jesse's question, not a whole hell of a lot going on with me. Finally, some decent weather in where I am, so I've been trying to get out and enjoy it and stuff. So that's the main thing that's been going on with me, getting outside and enjoying the weather.
Yeah, it's like nuclear winter over here at the moment.
Oh, that's a bummer.
Yeah, we get that a good portion of the year here. It's pretty cold for pretty much from around probably around from April till around like August kind of time. It's it's pretty cold around that time of year here, and it doesn't really heat up until real late in the year, and then we get maybe 6-7 weeks of like decent weather, like pretty warm weather, and then it's almost back to this again after that.
So I'm gonna just do this so I know and the listeners know what's I'm gonna do the conversion for us, but you're in Celsius there.
Yeah, correct, yeah.
So what's cold? What temperature is cold for you in Celsius?
Well, lately we've been getting around 6 or 7 degrees, which is pretty cold.
Okay. One sec. Oh, the 6 degrees of Kevin Bacon showed up, of course. Okay, hold on. 6 degrees. Oh, here we go. Celsius to Fahrenheit. So, okay, 42 Fahrenheit. Okay, yeah. I mean, I guess that's a bit chilly. I'm assuming does it ever get below freezing there? Probably not.
No, it does.
Oh,
It's
it
not
does.
like really common. Not really common where I am. Like you get maybe a couple of nights like that a year here, or you might get like a really hellish winter maybe once like every decade, where you'll get nights where it's like really freezing, like where if you're out late at night, like your hand will literally freeze over, which is really cold. Which will get to probably 2 or 3 below zero. But yeah, like where some of my other friends live in attic, it's way colder than it does even where I am.
Oh, -3.
Yeah, Melbourne.
Minus
Melbourne's not the best place. Not the best place for a summer.
-3 Celsius looks like 26 Fahrenheit. Yeah. 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 I tell you. Yeah. I could live with it only getting down to 26 Fahrenheit.
Like it's much colder where you are, or
Well, it gets down to okay. So it says minus. You said minus. -3 Celsius, which is 26 Fahrenheit.
okay.
Yeah. So to give you an idea of how cold it gets in Minnesota in the winter, it can get down to around 20 degrees below zero Fahrenheit.
Oh, okay.
Um,
That's very cold.
Right. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do this little thing backwards. So if I go -20 Celsius. Oh no. Okay. Hold on. I got this little. Okay. It looks like it's
So what's that? What's that in Celsius? Is my question.
Yeah. That's what I'm doing, and I don't know why this isn't greater. You think it'd be greater, but it says -20 Fahrenheit is only -28. Well, you might as well just say -29 in Celsius. That seems weird to me. Only an 8-degree difference, but I guess maybe if it gets into the cold, the distances aren't as great. That's weird.
-20. I don't think that would be bearable, man. In Celsius, that's very cold.
Are you talking? Are you talking about in Fahrenheit or you said Celsius?
No, in Celsius, that's really, really cold, man. Like 20 below. That's really cold.
Yeah, well, it says it's only 8 degrees, whatever, difference between Fahrenheit, which is weird. Because, like, if you type in Fahrenheit, like 1 degree, that's -17 in Celsius. So you see what I'm saying? It's like the colder you get below freezing, like the differences between the measurements get closer, if you understand what I'm saying.
Yeah, a little bit, yeah.
Anyway,
Get it.
we don't have to talk about weather the whole time, but anyway.
Yeah, I'm not. Yeah, I mean, what's sort of, I guess, like normal kind of nighttime weather to some people was like kind of cold to me. I'm not a winter guy at all, really. I don't really adapt to the winter very well. I'm more of a summer guy.
Yeah, I'm with you right there. We do got some feedback from Austin. Thank you very much. He says sounds good on Jesse's end. Austin says, "Did you know there was a widescreen VHS of Nightmare on Elm Street? Would that be like a would that be like an Elite Entertainment VHS? Because I know that Elite Entertainment was putting out some of their scans on VHS. I've got their Chainsaw 2 scan on VHS. So if it is, I would imagine it's Elite Entertainment VHS, but yeah. Oh, I started the show, Jesse. I don't know, this probably doesn't apply to either one of us, but it's kind of cool. It was inevitable. The news, I think last week, maybe last Friday, came down the pipeline of the coming out in September in North America, I guess, the 4K Blu-ray disc of Friday the 13th, 1980.
Yeah, I was going to bring that up. Yeah, a few people I follow on Facebook were posting about that, and I mean, yeah, it was inevitable, but I'm like, really? Like, I don't know. I mean, at the end of the day, the fans have got no one to blame but themselves. I mean, Paramount only keep pumping this shit out because we all keep buying it. You know what I mean? And I'm not, guilt free of it myself. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know if I mentioned it or not, but just the other day, like, I don't know if I mentioned I was going to get it or not last time on the show or whatever, but just the other day I finally got in the Blu-ray steelbook of the original Friday, so I finally caved and got that. It took a couple of years for me to finally cave and get it, but I did eventually get it.
Well, very cool. Yeah, I was thinking about that every time I'd see it at the store or whatever. I'm like, yeah, I wonder, did you? It's like, wonder if Jesse is ever going to get this. Do you like how the cover looks?
Oh yeah, it's definitely a beautiful release, and yeah, I'm kind of getting more into the steelbook game here recently. Like, still pretty cool, man. And it looks nice. I managed to get one that was still in the shrink wrap, so it'll stay that way. I got real no reason to open it. I'm not destitute for ways to watch the franchise at this point. I could probably have a house fire and I'd still find some way I could still watch the films.
Oh, exactly.
Sorry?
I said exactly. For the record, I think that was the first time in North America, the original theatrical poster was used since the 1999 DVD release.
Yeah, that sounds about right. And that was like, a big selling point for me to finally get it. Just having that original box art is awesome. So that's why I got it. But now that I've got that, it's like, am I going to get 2 and 3 now? Like I may have to get those as well.
Yeah, some of us have that completist aspect of them, don't we?
Yeah, I can be very much like that in a way. Yeah, like kind of got to have them all, otherwise it doesn't feel complete, I guess. And I guess we're going to keep getting one a year. Except for next year there won't be one, but. We'll get one a year for a while, I guess.
Yeah, that's what it's looking like. Let me do a little Austin here. He says New Line put out a widescreen VHS of Nightmare on Elm Street in 1999. Okay, must have come off of their scan they did for the DVD releases. Austin says if the 4K discs have the uncut versions of all the films, he'll get them. If not, forget about it. Well, he said nope, but I like forget about it. Yeah, That's one thing that's interesting about the. There's really nothing. It doesn't say anything about that on from the 4K. On the 4K, the upcoming 4K release of Friday. Which version it even is, and it does say to include original mono, which is good for us original mono guys. But it's really weird that it doesn't say if it's uncut or R rated.
Well, you would think it would be at this point.
Uncut.
It'd be the uncut version. Yeah, I don't see why they would go backwards with that. That'd be kind of weird at this point.
Well, here
the uncut version's pretty standard now for that movie.
Or here's a thinking from Paramount's standpoint: put out the R-rated 4K first, and then later on the uncut 4K.
Who said that? Did Wincott say that?
No, I thought of that one.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know, man. One thing that I think would be really cool, which may never happen, but one new selling point of rebuying the movies would be if they stitched back in the gore from part 2 and all that. That'd be cool to have there's bootlegs and stuff out there, I guess, but it'd be cool to have official releases of that sort of stuff. But I guess you can only really do it with I think it's 2, 4 you can do, and I think a lot of the gore from 6 I think is still around as well. I think.
Yeah, it may have come up before on the show or whatever that some people were doing some really amazing jobs with that part 2 footage, cutting it into the scenes, right after it came out on YouTube.
Yeah, I actually saw it on YouTube before the box set arrived on my doorstep, so that was really cool.
Yeah.
And I think I've heard somewhere around, on a few torrent sites, says there's people have actually put it back into the actual film, so that'd be really cool to have.
Absolutely. Let me do a little Austin here. He says he's got Scream Factory steelbooks of The Thing, Night of the Demons, Piranha, Forbidden World, and some DVDs like Chainsaw, Robocop, and Skyfall. Actually, Skyfall is a Blu-ray. He's surprised Aliens doesn't have a 4K.
Yeah, they haven't done Aliens in 4K yet. They've done the first one, but not the sequel.
Yeah, I want to say that I think from what I understand, James Cameron shot Aliens with a really high-speed film stock that was really grainy, and I want to say when he did the Blu-ray release, they kind of degrained it. I want to say that was kind of not too well taken by the fans or whatever, but one can only assume what a 4K... Yeah, that is interesting that Aliens isn't on 4K yet, being such a popular entry, a lot of people's favorite entry in the franchise.
Yeah, I'll still go with the first one, but the second one's very close. I love them both, really, but the horror fan of me loves the first one to death. But
yeah, I have to agree with that. I'm in the same camp. A lot of people like Aliens more, but for me, holy crap, just the pure terror that is found within the first film is But
I tell you what, though, as scary as the first movie can be, with that pure terror that you just said, the game, which I think I've mentioned before, but the game Alien Isolation, really ramps that right up. That game is downright fucking terrifying. If you're hiding from the alien because you can't actually kill it, there's only one alien really in most of the game until right near the end. A few more show up, but you can never really kill it. You can only either hide from it for most of the game, and then later on you get a flamethrower that you can deter it with. But you'll be hiding in a closet and your heartbeat will be going, and you just pray that it doesn't find you, and it's really tense. And it learns your habits too. So if you keep hiding in the same sort of area, it'll learn that. It'll find you.
Yeah, that's one of the most recent games. It might actually be the most recent game that I own and have played all the way through. That game was a absolute masterpiece and such a great game for fans of the original film because it opened up, it lives in the world of the original film and opens it up even more with, different kinds of locations and stuff that weren't obviously in the film with the same kind of production design and all the sound design. It was just like a dream come true for a fan of that first movie. And like you say, the horror aspect of the game. For me, I want to almost say that the those kind of those robotic droids walking around were almost more scary or just as scary for me as the alien with those glowy eyes and shit.
Oh, okay, interesting. Yeah, for me, I wasn't really that scared by them, but they were a pain in the ass. Like to get away from them, sometimes it could be quite challenging because like you'd have to really shoot like quite a few of those yeah, like what was it, like the nail gun. I had to shoot like quite a few of them into its head to drop it. And actually recently, like in the last like close to a year, I actually went back and played through that game again like two more times, like once pretty much just for fun, and then the second time I played through to finish off getting all the trophies and that, because I don't know if you realise, but on PlayStation there's a trophy system and you can get like platinum trophies is like the last trophy you get for like getting all the other trophies. And yeah, I managed to get the platinum for that. And like the hardest trophy in the game is you got to make it through the whole game without dying once. Like if you die once, it's an instant fail. Yeah, I was able to get through that. It wasn't easy though. I had to really have my wits about me and really concentrate to not die.
Wow, yeah, I've only played it one way or once through all the way. Let's see here. Austin says regarding aliens, it wasn't too degrading. The biggest problem is the teal appearance in a few scenes. And Austin's got Alien Isolation on PS3. Yeah, for the record, I've got it on 360. But yeah, oh, what a great game. And I'm just such a big one of the things I love about the first film is just the production design and the sound design. And it was just so cool to see and hear that all the way through the game. You'd open the doors or save the game or do all this and that, and it'd be like the sound effects from the movie and stuff. It's just like great.
Oh yeah, it was a really well made game for sure. Yeah, I have it. I had it on because I'm a PlayStation guy. I had it on PS3 I think first, and then yeah, I got it on the PS4. But yeah, that game's a masterpiece. I would almost go as far as to say like it's more of a direct sequel more than even Aliens is in certain ways, as far as the aesthetic and like the music and stuff that you were talking about. It's pretty spot on that way.
Oh yeah, that's. I think I remember thinking that when I was playing it. I'm like, how cool is it that it's like a kind of like a continuation of the Alien universe, and not in a way that's much different than Aliens. Because let's face it, I mean that's James Cameron, different director, and it's got its own look and own production design and sound design. And it's even though it's like the same kind of universe, it does feel still pretty different.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, that's definitely true. Yeah, that game it got a lot of hate from a lot of people because I don't think a lot of people liked that it wasn't an action game. Like a lot of the previous Alien games and even the ones that followed Isolation were more like run and gun and just blow the shit out of a friggin' blow up a friggin' alien every 3 seconds. Which, don't get me wrong, that's fun too, and I enjoy those sort of games too. But that game really has tension about it. There's really nothing else I mean, I've played my fair share of horror games, but I've really experienced nothing else quite like that. I've often thought like how much even more effective a game like that could be if it was like in VR. Like, can you imagine playing that sort of thing in a VR like environment?
Yeah, that'd give you nightmares. Holy crap.
Yeah, I think it'd almost be like probably too much for you to take, man. You'd probably end up having a friggin' heart attack playing the friggin' thing. Like, just as a standard game, it was scary enough, you know.
Oh yeah. Well, I was gonna say something I forgot. Oh well. You were talking about. Oh yeah, yeah. 'Cause it's a game based on basically the feeling and the atmosphere and the mood of the first film. Well, for people who are complaining about it not being action packed, I mean, the first film was far from an action movie. It was a sci-fi suspense, whatever horror, So people can't really complain about the game not being action packed because the movie wasn't.
Yeah, that's true. I don't know. I think it's more of the opinion of like like a lot of the younger generation and that, and it's just I don't know. I guess it's just sort of a game that they're not used to really like playing or dealing with. It's a little bit of a thinking man's game. You kind of got to, you've got to really have a bit of a strategy to what you're doing, and you just can't like run around, nilly-willy doing whatever you want, because if you do, the alien will hear you and come and fuck up your day,
Oh, okay. So that makes sense. I mean, a lot of the younger game people are more used to and enjoy just constant mindless shooting, probably. Okay.
Yeah, which, like I said, I mean, kind of has its place. Like the new Alien game, Alien Fireteam, that's pretty much what that is. And don't get me wrong, it's fun. It's a fun game. But if I had to choose, though, between the two experiences, I'm going to go with Alien Isolation, because that game's in a league of its own, and I really do hope one day that we get a sequel to it. I mean, it's been a long time since that game came out. I think it was like 2012 or something, I want to say. So, talking about like a decade ago. But with a few of the I mean, games haven't really improved that much since then. But like a little bit here and there, you could do some pretty interesting things with that game nowadays. And like I said, you could even do like a VR version of it nowadays.
Oh my God. Austin's got the Alien Anthology Blu-ray set. He's also has Aliens Colonial Marines on PS3.
Yeah, that's a fun game. I've gone back and played that a bit not too long ago. That's pretty fun. I think that came out a year or two before Isolation, I think. What else did he mention? He mentioned that game, and what was the other thing he said?
Oh, he was just mentioning he's got the Alien Anthology Blu-ray set with the 4 films.
Okay, yeah. I have the. There's a really nice. I don't know if you've ever seen it, but there's a really nice Blu-ray set you can get that has the alien like wrapped around the egg, and it has like the first 4 films. I managed to finally snag that like a couple of years ago for a decent price on eBay. That's a really nice set. I've always wanted to own that, and that's how I own the films on Blu-ray. I could be wrong, but I remember just a few months ago I had the 4K for Alien in my hand. I was at a store, but I can't remember if I picked it up or not though. If I didn't, I really should get that. It is a film that would probably look pretty nice in 4K. You ever watched it in 4K, Nate? Or?
Well, I don't have the means or the ability to watch things in 4K. I don't have 4K anything.
Yeah, I'm the same. I don't actually have it. Yeah, I don't have the equipment to run 4K yet, but I imagine it probably would look pretty good, because I've heard, I'm not like, really big into like buying everything again on 4K, but I'd imagine that would probably look pretty good in 4K, and they do say a lot of the older films look better in 4K than the newer ones. That's what I've heard.
Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, shit, the new ones are filmed digitally, but I know a lot of people don't have a problem with that. But let me do a little bit of Austin here. He says, GTA and Gears of War is what the younger video game playing crowd is used to. Alien Isolation was 2014. Colonial Marines was 2013 to be exact. Well, thank you very much, Austin.
Yeah,
and
I said it. Yeah, I said it a year before, pretty much. Yeah.
pretty.
Yeah, GTA. I'm over GTA. I played the last one, but I don't need another GTA game in my life. I'm more into the Red Dead Redemption series, which is the same company that do GTA. So I guess it's like GTA for the Old West, but I don't know. I'm just more into that setting nowadays. And going back to what Wincott was saying before, yeah, that steelbook of the thing that Screen Factory did. I want to get a hold of that myself soon. I want to get the lithograph for that as well, but I'll have to sacrifice a small goat to get that on eBay. But I love the film. I really want it. I have the standard edition they did for the film, which I still haven't looked at, but apparently that's the one Dean Cundy worked on the transfer, I think, wasn't it? They added like a really blue tint to the film, I believe.
Which film? The title slipped by me.
The Thing.
Oh, okay, yeah, The Thing. I'm not very familiar with the video releases of The Thing or blue tints or anything, but yeah.
Mm-hmm. So you're not that big a fan of that movie, Nate?
Well, yeah, I'm not as big a fan of it as you are, but I guess maybe that's because it just probably because it reminds me too much of winter in Minnesota. Maybe pretty close representation.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. It's no secret. Yeah, I've mentioned that on the show a few times. I love that film to death. It's outside of Friday. It's probably my favorite movie of all time. Like I like it even more than Alien. I'm a pretty big Alien fan.
Yeah, it definitely is pretty great in the way that I honestly, I mean, I know back then a movie could only be so long, but when I most recently watched it, I was like, it's so great how they very subtly have that dog, kind of just doing or whatever, walking around, peeking around, looking at people and stuff. I almost wish, when I watched it last time I saw it, I was like, God, maybe there should have been a little more of that just dog just kind of walking around in the background or, but it's just because it's so cool to me, those scenes, and not knowing necessarily what's going on at that point, like the first time you're watching it, but having some idea of, okay, what's going on with this dog, and those moments are fantastic for me in the movie. And like I say, it's just like when I watched it last, I'm like, God, should there be just like a little bit more of that? What's your thoughts on that?
Well, I think I mentioned not long before I did actually. Just a few weeks ago, I got to see that in the theater again. That was a great. It's like it always is, but I think you get quite a bit with a dog. You get scenes of it, like walking down the hallways and like sussing things out. And there's that one moment where it goes into the room with you don't actually like see him, but from the shadow outline, it looks like Palmer's character. It goes into the room with him, and then you get the scene where it's walking around the the recreational room area and stuff. You get a bit, you get that kind of really cool, reaction from the dog when the helicopter, I think it's when it's coming back from when McCready and the doctor are coming back from the Norwegian camp and he's just sort of looking at the helicopter thinking, oh shit, they've got a bit of information on what's going on now. I could be in trouble here.
Yeah.
I think you get enough. And then I guess, that is the iconic scene where the dog things out in the kennel with the other dogs. Can't really think of too much else that you could have really done with it. I'm pretty happy with like the amount of the dog we get in the film. Apparently, that's at the beginning where the Norwegian guy is like screaming at him like about the dog and that. Apparently, they're actually like real Norwegian words and stuff. Like I think he's saying something like, "That's not a dog; it's an alien. It's an imitation. Get away from it." So, like, if you were Norwegian, seeing that movie in the theater for the first time in the 80s, you would have a bit of a knowledge, I guess, if you didn't guess that dog was an alien before everyone else would have caught on, yeah.
Oh, wow, like a spoiler for the Norwegian viewers.
I tell you what, though, Nate, I'll never look at a husky the same way again.
Oh, gosh, that's for sure. Let me read a little bit of Austin here. He says, for the record, he's got a 4K TV. Blu-rays look fantastic on a 4K TV. Totally worth getting one. Yeah, I won't be getting one as long as my 1080p TVs work, but who knows what the hell they'll have by the time I need to replace a TV. Austin says he's got GTA Vice City, GTA 3, GTA, I'm not Roman, so IV, is that 4? I'm not sure. Oh yeah, it must be 4 because he says he doesn't have part 5 yet. He's just listening to us talk. He says, Austin chimes in, he says he loves The Thing. The Thing has 2 Scream Factory transfers, the 2K and the 4K. If you have the Steelbook, the 2K has like a blue icy filter to it.
That's the one I was talking about. Yeah, I have that. I've never watched it. It seems like every time I I would get the itch to watch it, they end up showing it at the Astor. So I'm like, watch it at home or watch it in a theater. You know what I mean? Like, I have it. I have a theater, but it's as far as home use goes, it's pretty good. Yeah, nothing kind of beats that communal experience sometimes, That's pretty much, my excuse for not checking out that disc yet. I think in the way of features, I don't think there's much new. I think maybe there's like an interview with like Dean Cundy or something like that, yeah.
Well, this question probably goes to either of us. Austin says, have you watched the extended ending of The Thing? You see more of the stop-motion Blair monster. I'm pretty sure I checked that out.
Yeah, I've seen most of the stuff like that. And then there's the TV cut, which I don't think has ever had like an official release on a disc. That has some extra stuff in it that I've seen a couple of times. I know Carpenter shot an alternate ending even where MacReady makes it back to civilization and he has a test that proves that he's human. But it was never really released. And I think there's like an added shot. I'm not sure I think maybe that might be in the TV cut. I can't remember exactly, but I think they shot a scene where there's an extra dog that like didn't get killed in the kennel, and it kind of you see it just like run off into the distance, into the ether kind of thing, like at the very end, like suggesting that like the Thing managed to get one of the other dogs.
Yeah, that would have been an interesting, doomsday ending or whatever.
Yeah, there's a video game of The Thing. Are you aware of that, mate?
Yeah, I think I've got it. I don't think I've played it. I got it like really cheap, previously viewed. I back when it was newer, a buddy of mine had it, and I saw a little bit of the gameplay. He was inside the station, and he could see. All I can remember is something like, I think the Thing or some creature walked by outside the window or something like that. It was like, whoa, kind of like a little bit of precursor to Alien Isolation.
Yeah, I didn't play it when it first came out either. Actually, I around pretty close to the time that game came out was around the time when I first saw the movie. It was one of those ones that I didn't see like when I was really young. I mean, I was about 14, I think. I saw it when I first saw it. It was around the turn of the century, and I remember like kind of pulling my dad up about that. I'm like, man, why haven't I ever heard you talk about this movie? How come, I never saw this movie like way back in the 90s and that. And I don't know, it was one that we never owned, even though like my dad was a pretty big fan of the movie, which is kind of weird. But that's actually one that I don't really remember seeing even on like the video store shelves as a kid. Maybe there was a bit of a lack of a release of the film here. I'm not sure. I mean, kind of would make sense knowing that the film wasn't a huge hit. I guess maybe video stores didn't really, I guess back then, didn't feel the need to really stock it as much. But yeah, the game, I think I ended up playing it a few years after its release, like obviously after I became a fan of the movie and stuff. The game's good, like it's fun, but it is a bit flawed. Like the whole like blood testing doesn't really ring true, because like you can give like one of your soldiers a blood test and then walk through the very next room and they'll thing out on you. And it's like, really? Like, he wasn't the thing 3 seconds ago. You know? So they kind of goofed on the mechanics of the game a bit. I really do think, though, that it would be really boss if they made a new game out of it. I do like, though, how it's like a sequel. How it's the whole game pretty much hinges on that one bit of dialogue that McCready has like near the end of the movie, where he says, the thing just wants to go to sleep now and wait for the rescue team to show up and discover it, which is what happens in the game. But it's definitely fun for what it is, and it's definitely one I'll go back to every once in a while, every few years, and play again. But it definitely could have been a bit better, though, as far as like the mechanics of like how the blood tests and all that work. Like if that stuff was a lot more accurate, then the game would be a lot more effective, I think.
Very cool. Yeah, I haven't played it. I just saw that little bit of my buddy playing it way back then. Austin informs us that in Roman numerals, IV is 4. Thank you very much. He continues on to say the Thing TV cut is on the Scream factory release. It's terrible. They don't show any of the gore or monster effects. That's weird, because I can remember my first experience with any of that movie, The Thing, was on TV, and I can remember that the head, coming off that guy and ripping off the guy's body and crawling away was on TV, unless that's not what you consider gore. But I can remember that vividly because I was kind of young at the time, and I was like, holy shit, they're showing this on TV and I'm too young.
Yeah, that's the Norris monster.
Yeah, but I
great
could
scene. It's probably maybe like that's a definitely a contender for the best scene in the movie. It's probably the best. Definitely, like effects wise, it's definitely the best scene in the movie. The blood test scene though is great.
Well, it might be up there for one of the most, surprising something to happen in a movie scene of all time, with the guy giving him the trying to jumpstart his heart, and then his chest just opening up like a mouth. I mean, that's, who the hell saw that coming?
Yeah, exactly. Have you ever seen The Faculty, Nate?
Oh yeah, not in a while though, but yeah, I saw that.
Yeah, I actually saw it in its initial release when I was a kid in the theater. But do you remember the scene where they're all taking that drug, the scat drug that Josh Hartnett's character calls that drug that he's invented? Yeah, where like it's a way to tell who's alien and who's not. Do you remember that scene?
Yeah, vaguely, yeah.
Yeah, that scene is definitely inspired by that blood test scene in the thing. Like, don't really hear a lot of people mention that, but like I remember, yeah, like I mean, I saw that movie first before I saw the thing, but I remember like once I become pretty familiar with the thing, like rewatching the Faculty, I'm like, holy shit, man! Like Rodriguez is definitely a fan of the thing. Like he's definitely had inspiration with the scene here.
Yeah, that's an interesting little bit of tidbit. Interesting. Yeah, I haven't seen the Faculty forever. Austin says the thing has Dark Horse comic sequels that came from the 90s. Those were good. Are you familiar with those, Jesse?
I'm familiar with them. I think I've possibly like flicked through one of them. I think like I've always wanted to, read those, but I've just never gotten around to it. I think you can get them relatively I guess years ago when I had a look, you could get them pretty cheaply on eBay. People are probably trying to make you sacrifice a small goat nowadays to get them, but they would be cool to own. If we end up ever doing that, whatever episode on the thing or a Carpenter retrospective or something on the show, maybe then I'll do a deep dive on the history of the thing, and maybe I'll check out those Dark Horse comics. Good excuse to.
Yeah, that'd be a good excuse too. Austin says he's got the Aliens arcade game. I don't exactly know which game that is, but that's okay. Okay, so he was saying that I guess the TV cut on the Blu-ray was a very early TV cut. It has a narration at the start. Yeah, maybe the one I saw, was years later and they showed more, I guess. Austin saw the Faculty on VHS back in the day. The comics, or the Aliens comics are great too. Same with Predator. The Terminator comics aren't bad either. Yeah, personally, I'm not the biggest comic guy, but that's okay.
Yeah, I'm not a huge comic book guy. Like, don't get me wrong. Like, I've always really dug comics, but I don't know. Like, it's sort of rare that I actually, find the time or where it will even come to mind to sit down and read a comic. Like,
Yeah.
He's like a little funny story that I don't think I've shared on the show before, which is kind of amusing. It was around, I think, like 99 or 2000, probably 2000. I was actually coming home from school one day, and I wanted to play my PlayStation, and we had the TV and the VHS player on this stand. And I think, some of the cords were like caught underneath like one of the wheels, and I couldn't lift it and get it up on my own. So I called my dad to come and help me, and he's like, yeah, I'll be in a minute. Just give me a minute. He was doing something in the kitchen. And, being an impatient teenager, I didn't want to wait. You know what I mean? So I lifted the wheel. Like, I'd done it before, and I'd done it successfully, but I must have, just lifted a little bit too high. And, the whole thing came crashing down. The TV, the VHS player. Like, it made such a racket. My dad, like, comes flinging around the corner. My dad would have been, like, probably the age I am now, or maybe a bit younger than what I am now. And he comes flinging around the corner. And I just look at him, and he goes, run. So I run. I take off, and I come back like an hour later after he's had time to cool down, and he's like, we're screwed, right? Like, that was the only VHS player we had at the time, and because it was weird though, because usually we had like 2 or 3 of them, but I think like it was just one of those things where a couple of them broke down and we never got around to fixing them or replacing them at the time. So and I think we still had a TV, but it was like just a fucking like a little black and white TV or whatever. Yeah, that's right. It was a little black and white TV. So yeah, I found myself like for about probably, I want to say at least like 3 weeks to a month where, yeah, I really didn't have access to movies all that much unless like I wanted to go to the theater. So I got really into reading Spider-Man comics, and I ended up like, yeah, reading like probably like the better part of like all the 60s issues and 70s issues, and then like then once I was done with those, I got into like more of the newer ones, which was like around the time when like the Ultimate Spider-Man comic run started and a few others. So like Spider-Man's like, yeah, like the comic I've read the most. Like I've read like a few Superman issues and stuff because, yeah, I love Superman. Superman's my favorite superhero. But yeah, that's kind of like, yeah, why I got into comics for a while.
Yeah, out of necessity. Well, that's quite the story. Oh my God! It was nice of your dad to say run instead of being the parent that just
Yep.
starts in on you. Oh man.
Yeah. um, yeah, I remember that. Yeah, I remember like, yeah, like it was either like that night or like the night after, like just before I had the idea to start reading comics and stuff. Like I remember just sitting at home, I'd been bored out of my mind, and yeah, my dad was like kind of getting a kick out of it in a way, like because even though like it sucked for him, he was like, "Well, yeah, this is what happens when you don't listen, kid." I'm just sitting there I'm like, man, this is so shit.
Oh my
But,
God. Live and learn. What I missed it. What cable got caught under the what?
oh, I think it was yeah, it was either like maybe the cable for like the TV itself, or could have been one of my PlayStation cables or something. I mean, I can't remember exactly, man. I remember talking about an event from like 22 years ago, you know.
Oh, okay.
But, yeah, it was something to that effect. Yeah, I remember it. Yeah, it sucked for a while, and I remember like, yeah, we ended up replacing the VHS players first, and I remember, yeah, having to watch movies on that black and white set for like a week or two as well. So I mean, ended up watching certain movies. I think I actually watched a couple of the Fridays on it. Actually, I think so. I watched them in black and white, which was interesting.
Yeah. Austin talks about, because earlier he said he's got the Aliens arcade game, and then he says recently Konami put out the Aliens arcade game in 1990. It never had a home port. So then, Austin, how do you own it? Just some kind of, I can never remember the name of those.
Emulator.
Emulator. He must have an emulator. Okay. He must.
Yeah, I've been meaning to get one of those for the longest time. Hey, there's a pretty cool company that out here that do some pretty sweet emulators, and they have everything from like the Atari up until like the PlayStation 1 on there. Like you get almost, yeah, like every game you ever like played or grew up with or saw someone play like is on this thing. And I really got to get around to getting one of those, because there's some games that I haven't played in probably like 30 years that I grew up with. Like there's an like, speaking of arcade games, there's a Alien versus Predator arcade game that I used to play a lot when I was a kid, and I haven't played that game in, yeah, like a good probably close to 30 years. But that was a really fun game. Like you could be an alien. It was sort of like the precursor to what was that one you mentioned before? Alien Colonial Marines. Yeah, it was sort of like a precursor arcade version of that, because you could either be an alien, a predator, or a marine. I'm pretty sure. Maybe not the alien. I don't know. It's been years since I played it, but I know you could at least be a predator or a marine.
Well, that sounds cool. Austin says retro. It must be what he's got. Retro Pi emulator. It has thousands of arcade games on it. There's tons of emulators to choose from. Well, there you go. I can remember one that I'd like to have is I played in the arcade, or not the arcade. It was like a gas station convenience store, like every Friday for a while, and I think it was '88 or something. It was like a Rambo video game called Akari Warriors, where you're just it was a two-player simultaneous, but I mean, I always just played it myself. But what was really cool about it is the controller. It was just a joystick traditional, but then you could twist the joystick to aim, to have the guy aim the gun. So I thought that was really cool at the time, to be able to walk in one direction and shoot in another direction. But you can see kind of emulators on YouTube to see Akari Warriors. That's always been something I'd like to play. Again, it came out on NES, but I mean, obviously, it was nothing like the arcade. And I remember being like, well, obviously you only shoot in the direction you're walking on the NES. So what was so cool about the arcade is that little twist joystick,
Yeah, I think I've heard of that game. It sounds a little bit like Contra.
Yeah, it basically is Contra, except for a side scroller. It's the old top view, kind of walking upwards kind of a thing. But yeah, it's basically Contra, Rambo ripoff. But I love the music too, and yeah, those games from our childhoods. I got to tell you, another one that was really cool in the arcade was Robocop. The game in the arcade was really cool. I'd like to have a emulated version of that as well. I remember that being really cool, and of course that came out NES as well, but I mean, NES version of arcade games was left a lot to be desired back in the day.
Yeah, that was I remember like a few of my first lessons with that. That was a really big disappointment. Like, I remember getting Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles on the Nintendo and thinking that I was going to get like Turtles in Time or Turtles 2, like from the arcade, and yeah, it wasn't even the same game. Like, it was a completely different game, and that's a torturous game too. That's a very hard game, man. I never beat that game. I probably could now if I really, friggin' put my nose to the grind and really played it and learnt the game. But that was a torturous game especially for a little kid to play. But yeah, there was nothing like the arcade, eh? That's something that current generations are not going to know really much of anything about now. I mean, like, an arcade now, if it does exist, is like a bunch of like, get the claw around the teddy bear and win it. You know what I mean? Those sort of games for the most part. Like, I think I know of like one arcade, like that's in my my state where it actually has like some pretty decent newer arcade games. Like, they actually have like a new Turtles game, which I wouldn't mind going there one evening and playing that. But the arcade was a very cool hangout, very cool place when we were coming up as kids, for sure.
Yeah, what's great about the movie Tron is, there's obviously some of those arcade scenes at the beginning of the movie Tron, if anyone's seen that. And it was, that movie, I love the movie for many, many reasons, but I mean, how cool is it to kind of have that era, captured, a little time capsule, to have that era of the arcades captured in those couple of scenes in Tron, to really, it was just this noisy room full of just all these arcade sounds coming from every which way all around you. And yeah, definitely something that it is a bummer that the stay at home frickin' never leave your room generation nowadays will obviously never experience, unless, like you say, there's a few of them half-ass places with a room full of claw grab the stuffed animal stuff.
Yeah, I'm familiar with Tron. To me, honestly, that's like the best part of the movie at the beginning, where Bridges has got his own arcade called Flynn's, which is now named after his character. To be honest, like, it's an okay movie, Tron, but I kind of like the concept and the idea of it more than the execution. I think the execution leaves a little bit to be desired. I don't know. I think it's a pretty clunky film in some ways. I mean, I've only seen it probably like 3 or 4 times in my life, but I mean, it's probably going to sound like blasphemy to some people, but I actually probably enjoy the sequel more than I do the original film.
Well, we all have, as I grit my teeth, we all have our own opinions and come from different generations, and that's.
I don't think we can always play the generational card, though. I mean, there's a lot of things in that movie that I can relate to, and I saw the movie when I was young, and all that. It's just, I don't know, man. Personally, to me, like I said, I really dig the concept of him going into like this, computerized world. I guess it's in a way, it's kind of like the Matrix before we had the Matrix in a weird kind of way. But I don't know. I thought they could have done more with it, and I think they didn't emphasize enough of the cool shit that they had, like, the ideas they had for the movie, like with the light cycle and stuff. Like, I think they could have done more with that, or even just like that whole battle arena thing, like with when they're throwing the disc at each other and stuff. I mean, those scenes are there, but I don't know. I think they could have done more with the film than they did.
Well, very cool. On to us.
That's my goofy opinion, I guess.
Well, we each have our own opinions, that's for sure.
Shit.
What?
You there?
Oh, yeah. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? I'm here. Can you hear me? I'm here. Well, we might have lost him. I don't know what's going on. Can you hear me? I'll just keep talking.
I don't know what happened there. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Hello?
Oh, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
I can hear you, but like it's cutting out. May have to leave and come back again.
Yeah, you want to hang up and call back? Yeah, you can hang up and call back if you want. In the meantime, Austin says, oh, I should wait until Jesse's back. Who's this? Okay, yeah. Hello, are you there? Okay, I'm not hearing you. Maybe I'll call him. I don't know what's going on. I'll save these comments for when we've got them back on, because we kind of go with what we were talking about. Okay, I'll hang up on him. Nothing against you. Oh, wow. Okay, he never hung up. Okay, I see. He just called. That was weird. It's like he called. Okay, let me try calling. Oh, okay. It says he's unavailable. So maybe he's signing out and signing back in. Yeah, we'll get to your comments, Austin, as soon as we've got them back. He might be signing out of Skype altogether and signing back in or something. A little bit of technical issues here. Just bear with us. Looks like he's possibly signed out, maybe to sign back in. Potentially 3 listeners. Welcome, everyone. Yeah, that's interesting. I've got this thing up here, and it's like the colder you get, it's like between Celsius and Fahrenheit, like the range seems to decrease. Well, let me type like, well, that'd be really, well, I can still do it out of curiosity. 50. Yeah, it's like the higher you get, 50 degrees. Is this right? 50 degrees Fahrenheit is 10 Celsius. So what if I type? Yeah, it's like the higher the number, the more the greater the whatchamacallit between the number. Let me okay. Well, he might have some Skype issues. Oh, he says in chat, it says I'm unavailable. Oh, you mean because, oh, I never turned my thing, it's an invisible. Is that what you mean? You called me before. I'm visible. I should be visible and available. It says that you're not signed in when I look at your I suppose I could reboot Skype on here. Okay, let's see here. Yeah, who knows? Maybe it's my end. Because I signed back in and people's little dots aren't popping up. Well, let me just try ringing them once. One ping only, please. I asked just for one ping, Basili. I'm seeing more than one. Why aren't you doing just one ping only, please? That's a lot of pings. Okay, yeah, I don't know what's going on, Jesse. Like, to me, you're unavailable, and to you, I'm unavailable. Well, why don't I reboot my frickin' phone? I'm gonna reboot the phone. A little bit of show hiccups, but that's to be expected on a lo-fi internet radio show. Yes, sir. Okay, rebooted phone and going back into Skype. And now I see him. Dun 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 dun. Well, I think so we don't have to listen to the ringing. I'll turn off the speaker. I can see him on the phone if he picks up. Trouble in paradise. Yeah, I don't know. It says you're unavailable. I don't know what's going on. Maybe I don't know. I don't know what's going on. Let's see here. Yeah, I see your green. Oh, wait. I gotta turn my. I don't know if it really matters, but I'll turn my green dot on. I see his green dot. This is a bummer. I see your green dot. My green dot should be on. Let me just try. Oh, looks like Rye Guy 88 is here for a bit for his dudes. Yeah, Rye Guy, we're currently having some Skype issues. Okay. So bear with us, Rye Guy. See if we can reconnect on Skype. We were talking for about an hour until, I don't know. There's just some problems. Too bad you had to show up during the technical difficulties, Rye Guy. I'm just ringing them on Skype with the speaker off so we don't have to just hear the ringing. Mother. I mean, I don't know what else to do other than what I did, you know. I just, I'm ringing you right now, Jesse. He says, try calling me back. I'm ringing him right now. Okay. How come my thing always goes back to invisible by itself? I see your green dot. So let me try ringing him again. Well, this is a bummer. Worked good for weeks. I don't know what's going on. I'm ringing you, Jesse, right now. That's just weird. That might be the end of the call for today. Bummer. I'm gonna send you like just a text on Skype and let me know if you even get this. See. Yeah, I don't know what's going on. It's like having a. It's a bummer. It's like having a. Oh, there we go. Hello? Oh, it looks like he's calling with. You're calling with. Why does this. Oh my god, what's going on? Hold on one sec. Yeah, it said incoming audio call, but then it was like video. I don't know what's going on. Holy Toledo. Hello, are you there? Holy Toledo. Well, I shouldn't have hung up. Let's see, we had a little bit of, I don't know, the Skype was breaking up on his end, and we thought we'd just disconnect and call back to improve the situation. It sure didn't improve the situation. Mother superior. Right when, oh well. Yeah, I'm trying to call you right now. It's really weird. Then it was like, I guess I could frickin' reboot again. Not that it did any good the other time. This whole show has just become a. Austin's like, Oh, damn. Yeah, the whole show's become a technical difficulty show. Right when Rye Guy shows up. Second time rebooting the phone here. I mean, I don't really know what to do other than rebooting the phone. Mm-hmm. Signing back into Skype-a-rooney. Okay, I should be active on there, but once again, like the dots of my contacts on here aren't appearing. Okay. Oh, okay. I'm seeing a message from him. He says it almost went through that time. Why don't I'm gonna try. I'm ringing you right now. I'm ringing you right now. Too bad I can't cut this part out. Wait, we might have him. I gotta turn on the speaker. Hello, are you there?
I'm here. Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Finally.
Jeez.
That was some snafu. I don't know what caused that.
Well, at least we're back. Why don't we just, since so much time was wasted, why don't I just continue with the chat like I was going to do? Oh, I don't know if you know in all that confusion, we've got Rye Guy 88 here, just in time for all that technical difficulties.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah, welcome, Ryan.
Welcome, Ryan.
You can make the show.
Welcome, Ryan. Sorry about the snafu, as it were. Let me just read chat. Austin, we were in the...
I think I was talking about Tron for like a good 2 minutes before I realized the call cut out. No joke.
Oh, well, that's possible. Let me do Austin here way back when he said, when we were talking about the video games, he said, yeah, that was AVP Arcade where you can choose to be an alien.
Are you there, Nate?
Oh, shit. Can you not hear me again? I'm here.
Come on.
Oh, you must not be able...
Okay, yeah, I can hear you. Yeah, I thought it cut out again.
Well, you must have if I cut out. I was talking. Anyway, should I try again to read this chat?
Yeah, shoot.
So Austin says, yeah, that was AVP Arcade where you choose to be an alien, predator, or marine. There's also a 99 PC game that did that. Austin's got Robocop arcade emulator as well, so now I'm all jealous. Even Robocop 2 arcade, he says. Turtles 3, The Manhattan Project, is a good NES game. He says Turtles in Time was on Super NES, and
I've always wanted to play the Manhattan Project. There's actually an upcoming TMNT collection. It's gonna come out on like PlayStation and stuff. It's gonna have almost like every Turtle game that's ever been made, like all the main ones anyway, like Turtles in Time and the Manhattan Project. So I'm looking forward to getting that.
Well, very cool. Rye Guy 88 says Mother Superior must be messing with the Aussie phones back when we were having trouble. Yeah, must be.
Yeah, man, it was weird. I think I was talking for like a good 2 minutes about Tron before I realized what happened.
Oh, okay. Very possible. Yeah, Mother Superior.
What was the last thing you heard me say?
Well, you were, yeah, I mean, I think we agreed to, you were having problems hearing me, and then we agreed to like hang up and reconnect. So that's the last thing I heard.
Okay, yeah, I was basically just saying, like, long story short, like, I enjoyed Tron, but I just think, the movie's a little bit of a missed opportunity. I think they could have done more with, like, the cool concepts they came up with it for, like, the light cycle and the disc matches and stuff. I mean, those scenes are there, but I don't know, I somehow feel like they could have done more with that kind of stuff. And when you think about it, that movie's kind of like The Matrix before The Matrix in a lot of ways.
Oh, yeah, we heard all that, yeah.
Ah, okay, cool. No worries.
I understand, but at the same time, there was probably it's not like it's probably a lot more difficult and time consuming to do those CG things back then. So maybe
Oh yeah, that's for sure. Yeah.
they couldn't have droves and droves and endless droves of it.
Oh yeah. I mean, another film of that sort of same ilk that I'm like a much bigger fan of is The Last Starfighter. I love that film. That's one of my favorites. And yeah, that was one of the first CG outings from back in the day. Directed by Michael Myers himself,
Oh my
Nick
God.
Castle.
It's funny how that's CG effects, but it's not supposed to. It's kind of weird. It's CG that's supposed to represent like real physical effects. I think, right?
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, but that's what kind of like what I love about the film. Though I think it gives it like this, video game kind of charm about it, which I've just always really dug about that film. It's a shame that that movie never got a sequel. It kind of gets accused of being like a low rent Star Wars, which I mean, I can see that kind of complaint. Like, it has some similarities with Star Wars, but yeah, I think it's a lot of fun,
Yeah, it's another
and it
one.
has a killer score. Like, I love the whole score of the film, the whole dun dun na 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 na. Cool stuff. Don't
Okay.
write them like that anymore.
Yeah, that's something that's really kind of seemed to go the way of the dodo is just really cool music or music themes.
Yeah, like why? I don't get it, eh? Like it really is almost a completely non-existent thing for the most part nowadays.
It's like it's like
Which is really sad.
it's like movies and or music and movies now. It's like all the same thing, just reused for every new movie over and over. That's what it seems like.
Yeah, well, someone was telling me like a long time ago that they kind of just nowadays, a lot of the time, believe it or not, they take all these older scores and just kind of like mix and like yeah, mix them in a different way and yeah, mix and match them pretty much, which is like kind of bizarre. I don't know. It's a cheaper way of doing it, I guess, than hiring like a composer or just someone who does scores. But it's a shame. I think it's a big reason why I think some films lack in a lot of ways. Because I mean, like we are talking about that in we are talking about that in our Friday episode the other day. That a big part of even just that movie is that score, that music. You know what I mean? If you remove that, there's a lot missing.
Oh, that's for darn sure. Austin says Alien 3 had a Sega and NES game too. Yeah, I've got the Super NES, he said. I've got the Super NES version of Alien 3. That was kind of fun. It seems to me I can't remember if you're the alien or the human. I can't remember, but probably the human. Yeah, you're probably Ripley, I would imagine. Can't remember if you
My comment on all that is fuck Alien 3.
Oh, okay.
I don't know. You know those characters that everyone loved in the last movie? Yeah, fuck them. Let's kill them off. No one cares.
Yeah, we saw it in the theater 30 years ago. God, was it this month? It might have been 30 years ago this month, and it was a disappointment to pretty much I think everyone. Yeah.
Yeah, pretty bizarre way to go with it. I think I've only ever seen that film like 2 or 3 times. There's a few things about it that are okay, but yeah. I mean, yeah, that franchise pretty much finishes after the second movie for me. I mean, Alien, what's it called? Alien, the fourth one, what's that called? Resurrection.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a pretty dumb movie. I mean, I can kind of watch it and have a little bit of fun with it. Just like as a dumb, mindless kind of thing. But yeah, it's not great. What's your opinion on like Prometheus? And that? Do you like that film or?
Yeah, I like that. Obviously, there's a review on the channel of Prometheus, but yeah, I like that. Looks like we got Will Powell in the chat, so that's really cool. Any interest, if Will's interested in connecting with him on Skype? You guys got along well.
Yeah, that'd be cool if he's down for it. Yeah, for
Well,
sure.
putting that out there, Will. If you want to connect with me and Jesse on Skype, we've got to let us know in chat, and I probably have to hang up on this, and we can reconvene in the group chat or the group call. So
I don't mind Prometheus. It has some dumb things about it, but it's a pretty cool concept. The one thing about it, though, that was a letdown for me is I didn't like the design they went with for the humanoid aliens. Like, I like the idea more that they look like whatever that was, like a giant elephant or whatever that it looks like in the in the original movie. They should have went with that look. I think would have been a lot cooler.
Okay, yeah, I know a lot of people had a problem with Prometheus. I was just thrilled to see Ridley Scott back in sci-fi, and being a huge fan of the first film, Prometheus obviously had a lot of that production design from the first Alien movie and all that kind of stuff. I thought was really fun and stuff.
Yeah, that stuff's cool. I don't know, just some of the plot and like some of the decisions some of the characters make is pretty bizarre and weird, like especially considering they're supposed to be scientists and stuff. It's just kind of weird and that, but I won't go down the whole rabbit hole of that.
Okay.
What about the next one? What did you think of the next one? I can't remember what that one's even called.
Yeah, they went with the alien name, alien shit. I don't know. I'm sure Austin will let us know. But yeah, it was kind of like more of the same. I guess I was, having liked the character of, I want to say it was Shaw from the first one. Yeah. It was, to me, it was kind of stupid to me that they kind of did the Alien 3 thing to her, and now she's dead. And
yeah, I was going to say the exact same thing as that. Yeah, they kind of Alien 3'd her character as well. And it's like, oh, that character that prevailed in the first movie that you ended up caring about. Yeah, fuck her, she's dead. She's being used to harvest alien eggs. Like, it's like fucking really. And I didn't like the whole idea too that what's his name? The guy who played the robot, Fassbender's robot character. How he's the one that invents the xenomorphs. Like he invents them. It's like really it's just weird.
Right, I hear you. Let me do a little bit of chat I missed. Let's see here. Austin commented on the new film scores these days. He says these new scores suck. All the good composers died off. Yeah, you got that right. He says you play Ripley in the Alien 3 game. The Alien 3 game is better than the movie. Yeah, I think we could maybe all possibly agree with that. Austin says Alien 4 has a PS1 game. He also says he saw Prometheus in theaters in 3D. I want to say I did as well. Yeah, I've also got I've got the 3D Blu-ray as well. So that's kind of fun.
Does he mean died off died off just not getting the work, or does he mean died off in real life?
I would imagine actually physically no longer existing, I think is what he meant.
Well, John Williams is still around. John Williams is alive. Alan Silvestri is alive. So, I mean, there's still a few of them around.
Yeah, but unless they're making Star Wars movies, I mean, John Williams, what's the last, I don't know, well, I guess he pretty much, unless they're making a Star Wars movie or Spielberg's making a movie, I don't know if he's doing much, but I hear you. John Williams still alive.
Yeah, that's true. If I remember correctly, I haven't seen those films a lot, but the sequel trilogy to Star Wars does have some decent music cues from what I remember. It's one of the saving graces of those movies, I guess. But
yeah, right. That you got to admit that maybe everything else about the Star Wars sequels wasn't that great, but at least John Williams still kind of did his normal good stuff. So that's a good point.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of composers that I admire and I dig the hell out of, but the king of them all's got to be John Williams. He's like almost all the iconic things that we all grew up with. He did most of them. You know what I mean? Like Jaws and Jurassic Park and Close Encounters and E.T. and friggin' even Indiana Jones. Like did I say Star Wars? Yeah, like I mean. Yeah. He done nearly all that stuff. It's kind of crazy that all that came from the same guy. You know?
Yeah.
I mean, even Superman, for God's sake, he did. You know what I mean? Like,
Oh, that's true. Yeah. Superman. Austin says in the
that's one of my all-time favorites. I love that song.
Austin says in the comics they go for the elephant engineers. Oh, okay. So maybe the comics did it right. Alien Covenant. Thank you, Austin. Alien Covenant was the Screw Shaw sequel.
Okay, yeah. I mean, if you're still in the chat, Ryan knows like my views on this a bit. But like, don't get me wrong. Like, I'm a Ridley Scott fan. Like obviously I love Alien and Gladiator is like a pretty decent film, and there's some other stuff he's done that I dig. But I don't know. Like I think he kind of thinks like he's a kind of above his own audience at times. Like like it was pretty much his idea to go with, the idea of like, oh no, that's just the helmet the engineers wore. That's not what they really look like, you know. And there's even like a behind the scenes thing where they're like, they're talking about that, and like the effects guys were like design, like working on designs that would mimic the way, what they originally called in the original film, the space jockey, what he would look like and stuff, and pretty much Scott shot everything down that they wanted to go with that, which I think is just a major mistake. And I don't know. It's sort of weird that like I said, there's some things I like about Prometheus. I think it's far from a perfect film though, but I don't know. It's kind of weird that film and especially the sequel came from the guy that did the original. You know what I mean? Like I don't know. I kind of expect a little bit higher quality from him, I guess. You know.
Yeah, that's true, but I mean, Jesus, by the time he did Prometheus and Covenant, I mean, he was getting on in age even then, and I don't know, your youthful creativity doesn't always stick with people as they age, I guess.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, that's a good point.
Well, kind of like, George.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess
George Lucas doing his first film, in 77 compared to like Phantom Menace.
Yeah, I knew you were going to bring that correlation up. If you didn't know I was going to anyway. And, that's a great point. I mean, he really lost the plot with meddling with those movies. I mean, to the point where you're adding in the no in Return of the Jedi at the end with Vader. It's like, really, George, really, like, I mean, someone should have tied him up and just kept him away from those movies. In the end, it's like, not bad enough, like you didn't do the best job you could have with the prequels, but now you want to meddle with the original films like to just like a ridiculous amount, and it's a shame, because I mean I enjoy the aspect of the prequels for what they are. Like, I actually don't mind like Attack of the Clones and Revenge of the Sith. That I can have fun with them, but that could have really been something great. You know what I mean? That prequel trilogy, that whole Vader story, you really could have done something really good with that. If he had have just given his ideas and then just fucked off and gave it to like really capable filmmakers, we really could have had a good set of films there.
Yeah, that's for sure.
I think that's why Empire. I just wanted to quickly say that's why I think Empire is so highly regarded and well made is because what's his name, Kirsten? What is the guy's name is who directed it? He was like George's like teacher or something like back in film school, and he pretty much told George like, you want me to direct this film? Well, I want some decent creative control with this, and he wouldn't just do everything George wanted him to. I think that's why that movie is like considered by most to be the best out of all the Star Wars films, and it's certainly my favorite too. But and he's a good idea guy, but when it comes to directing, he's not that great.
Yeah, that's a bummer. Austin says most of the classic composers are gone, though. John Williams and Alan Silvestri aren't getting any younger. That's true. Austin says, I hope Ridley Scott finishes off the Prometheus trilogy. Yeah, I know. That's what I, as much as it might not be a perfect thing, that's what I hope too. I mean, it'd be a bummer to have him do a couple of movies and not have it, kind of segue more smoothly into the first Alien film. So I don't know if that's going to happen. I really don't know. I mean, frickin' Ridley Scott, I think he's in his 80s or something. I mean, I guess Ridley Scott doesn't have to do it. I mean, someone else could finish off the Prometheus trilogy, but that would be a bummer if it just, they end it with Alien Covenant and don't continue that story even if it's not perfect. It'd be nice to see a completion to it, in my opinion.
Yeah, I don't know. In my opinion, I think that the damage is kind of done. I think the that ship sailed. I don't even think that'll happen because obviously Disney own it now, and I think they've got their own plans on what they want to do. And I think didn't they announce a while ago that they're doing a TV show or something like that to that effect? So I mean, I don't know. I know he was trying to get it made for a while there, but I don't know if it's going to happen. I mean, that one scene another scene that comes to mind in that Covenant is that one scene where the alien kills that couple or that girl or whatever in the friggin' shower, and it's is this a Friday the 13th movie now?
Oh yeah, that's right. I haven't. I think I only seen it twice, but I remember that now. Yeah.
Yeah, right. That rubbed me the wrong way. I was like, it just doesn't feel like Alien to me. And I don't know. I mean, if you had made those films in the 80s, they probably would be really good. But, that's the thing. Being a filmmaker, I guess when you get older, sometimes you kind of lose your creativity and stuff, like you said. And even Hitchcock, even some of his later films aren't as good as some of the earlier stuff that he did.
Yeah, it's hard to keep that old creative juices flowing. Austin says Ridley Scott is past 80. Okay, so that my hunch was correct. Okay.
Isn't he working on Gladiator 2? I heard something about that. He wants to make a sequel to Gladiator, which I'm dead against. It's he died at the end. How are you going to do it? It's weird.
That is weird. Yeah, maybe someone should not let Ridley Scott make any more movies now that we're talking about it.
Yeah, I think, he should just have a beer and lay down and retire. There's no shame in retiring, man. You know what I mean? You've got a good body of work. You just enjoy your remainder years.
Yeah, I don't.
To go out on a high than a low, obviously.
I mean, one thing I'll never wrap my mind around is Clint Eastwood. I mean, fucking making movies into his 90s. It's just Jesus Christ.
Yeah, that's kind of bizarre, eh? But the thing is, I haven't seen the latest one he did. I've heard it's not that good, but I really dig Gran Torino and The Mule and things like that. He did a pretty good job with that. I like The Mule quite a bit. yeah, it's like he must really have a real big passion to this day for filmmaking. If he's that age and he's still active and wanting to do it, eh?
That's freaking crazy. Well, no further word from Will, so I don't know if he stopped by to just say yo, yo, yo and leave. We've got Jose Gomez saying hello, but he's the goofball who just says goofy things, but that's his right, I guess. So here's something I was thinking about. So we know like Friday the 13th and The Thing are among your favorite films. Is there anything else that you haven't shared with us that kind of are some of your most beloved films?
Are we talking like just horror or like movies in general?
I guess just movies in general, yeah.
Ah, geez, where do I start?
Oh, okay. Long show.
It's a loaded question. There, I mean, there's really not a genre of film that I don't enjoy to a certain extent. You know, like I mean, horror is my first love. But love my sci-fi, love my action. Yeah, love my comedy. Yeah, I don't mind the odd drama. I'll throw in like the odd drama here and there if I hear like good things about it. Yeah, man, like I'm a lover of film just in general. It's not just horror, but like I'm a pretty big Arnold and Stallone fan. I love like all of like I love a lot of the stuff that Sly's done. Like I love Rambo, pretty big Rambo fan.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I love me some Rambo. Cliffhanger, I love Cliffhanger. That's that'd be my favorite Sly film outside of like the Rocky and Rambo sagas. Comedy wise, well, Planes, Trains, and Automobiles. That's my favorite comedy of all time.
Oh wow. Okay, that's cool.
You're a fan of that, I'm guessing.
Oh, absolutely. My dad and I saw it in the theater, and when it first came out, yeah, that's something I've loved ever since it came out. Yep.
Yeah, nice. Yeah, I wish I could have seen that in the theater. Yeah, that would have been something. Great film. Yeah, I mean, not only is it just hysterically funny, but that movie, like for a comedy, it's got so much heart to it.
Oh my God.
Just these two guys who just couldn't be more polar opposites. Just the way they end up bonding and like that last scene where one of the last scenes where Martin he's like running through like all the stuff they've been through like in his head when he's on the train and he pieces it all together like something's not right here and Dell's like still sitting at the train station. He tells him that his wife's been dead for years and it's pretty heartfelt stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
I'm trying to think of what else. I mean, there are other things I've mentioned on the show. Like I love The Blob. Love that movie.
Well, wait, which one?
Oh, the 80s remake. I've actually never seen the original film, believe it or not.
Okay.
One from the 50s, when I've never... It's always, one I've been meaning to see, but I've just never gotten around to it. I love the 88, remake. Trying to think of, some more non-horror-related stuff. Stand By Me. I love Stand By Me. I'm a big fan of that movie.
Oh, yeah. I think Corey Feldman's great in there.
Yeah, he's... Yeah, probably, definitely he's highlighting his career as far as acting goes. I reckon that's probably the best he ever was as an actor.
Yeah, probably, yeah.
Much as I love him in Friday, Final Chapter, I'd say, that's his best acting. I'm a Corey fan in just in general. I've seen most of his stuff, good and bad. Even like stuff like Dream a Little Dream things like that, yeah, of that nature. He was good as a kid. As a kid, he was likable. I don't know what happened when he became an adult. He just kind of lost it.
Yeah, that's a bummer.
What about you? What's some of your favorite films like? I guess outside of the horror genre.
Yeah, I guess it's kind of tough for me to say. I mean, I'll put on the spot. I mean, for me, I guess, Meatballs definitely comes to mind. I think that's a really fun movie I'm a big summer camp atmosphere and stuff. So I think that movie captures it really well. I want to say that they like filmed it, you know, with like possibly at the end of a summer camp or of a summer season with actual maybe the real campers as extras. I don't know all the details, but it really captures that feeling because it's unlike the majority of the Friday the 13th films is actually full of kids and campers and stuff. And I love the music to that. The escapes me right now, but he did the score for Ghostbusters. Oh, Elmer Bernstein did the music for Meatballs, and I love the music in it. And yeah, I love the feeling of the first film. Like the sequels, you can just throw out the window, but the first Meatballs, yeah, it's tough for me to think of stuff on the spot. Here I put you on the spot, and I can't answer my own question, but
Yeah, like if you gave me time to think about it, I'd give you a list of 300 films easy. You know what I mean? But on the spot, it can be tough. A comedy I just thought of that I quite enjoy that I haven't watched in quite a while, but I've been meaning to rewatch it is The Hard Way with Michael Jackson and James Woods. You ever seen that?
yeah, I got the DVD. I just blind buyed. It was like $3 years ago. I probably saw it once, and unfortunately, I don't remember anything about it.
Yeah, it was one of those budget titles. I remember I got it really cheap. Yeah, it was like one of some of the first DVDs I ever owned. Yeah, it's a fun film. It's got some good moments in it. It's probably like one of the best performances by James Woods. He's really good in that. It's like the hard nosed cop. But yeah, man, on the spot it's tough. But a lot of stuff I really dig. Goonies is another one. Another Fell Dog movie. I love that. Isn't he in one of the Meatball sequels?
Oh yeah, he's in 4. We're talking about Corey Feldman.
Yeah, I call him Fell Dog. Yeah, it's sort of like he's a name he's affectionately given by fans, I guess, in a way. Yeah, I remember hearing he was in that. I've only ever seen the first one. I saw it once. I thought it was an okay movie for what it was. Yeah.
Oh, here you go. Here's one that came to my mind. Explorers. Have you seen Explorers?
Love Explorers.
Yeah.
Except for that third act.
Yeah, I can hear you.
They dropped the ball with that third act.
I hear you there.
Like those first two acts, like it's almost like on the level of like a Goonies or Stand By Me. You know what I mean? But just that this script could have used a bit more polish on that. I mean, I think even the director Joe Dante, he's gone on record as saying he agrees with the fans that the third act is not good. Well, yeah, it's not great, and they kind of rushed him on it. And I think his original idea was once the boys got up to the spaceship, all the alien wanted to do was have some catch with. I'll show to someone or I'll recommend to someone that I know is like a fan of the Goonies.
Quick, we've got C-Snap. He says, "Hey Nate, hey guys." He said, "Damn it, I don't know how to pronounce his name. That's my part." He says, "Vangelis just died. One of my favorite composers. Blade Runner and The Bounty were two classic soundtracks. Shit. I'm talking to you right now, Jesse. Now it says OBS Studio disconnected, reconnecting. Yeah, maybe my internet's going to shit.
Yeah, I think maybe it's a problem on your end because like every time I try to call, it would say you were unavailable on that. And then I remember hearing on the show you were saying that the green lights for who's online on Skype wasn't showing up on your end. So
Well, I do Skype on the phone. It's separate from the internet I do the show with, so I don't know.
I think some kind of snafu with internet on the phone. Then maybe I guess I don't know, man.
Anyway, I'm talking to the people listening to the show. We had a couple dropouts, I guess, with my internet. Hopefully, we're back now. CSnap continues to say Explorers is a favorite. Again, the Jerry Goldsmith score outshone the film. Oh my God! I don't know what Jesse thinks, but the score for Explorers is just
something that you would hear in your dreams. To me, that score.
Oh yeah, that part of it that's like do 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 do. Yeah, absolutely. That scene, I can remember. I was lucky enough to have seen Explorers in the theater, and yeah, I know exactly. I'm so grateful, and thanks. Shout out to my mom. Thanks for taking me to Explorers as a kid. Oh God, OBS Studio disconnected, reconnecting. Anyway, hold on 1 sec, and then we'll continue my thought when I get a green square. Yeah, the old internet.
No worries.
Okay, I've got sorry fellas, I got the green squares back. I think my internet's kind of shitty.
Those, like, not so much River Phoenix's character, because I wasn't really a science kid, but Ethan Hawke's character I could relate to, because, like, he was into sci-fi and, like, aliens kind of stuff and that, which, I've always had interest in, which also gets passed down from my old man, because he had interest in, all that sort of stuff, sci-fi and whatnot. But also, the other kid, which I'm blanking on his name, he was like more of the like kind of the ruffian